It is hard not to like Luton Town. They are a beautiful team to watch. Their team spirit, the fans, Kenilworth Road is something to be admired. They are like a tragic hero that almost always seems to, at the end, lose out. But all the way to watching his storyline, you look at the grit and the determination, and you just love everything that is around the Luton Town story. Today, they lost out to Aston Villa in a game that looked as though Luton Town towards the end were the stronger of the two sides. But at the same time, you can also vilify them for their first half performance where they didn't show enough of what we know them to be. Kenilworth Road is a very tough place to go, and most of the top sides have found it very hard to win there. Manchester City and Arsenal won there narrowly. Arsenal won there with a last-minute goal from Declan Rice. And then you look at Liverpool, who also dropped points, and they only got that point towards the end of the game when Luis Diaz was able to score a goal for Liverpool, who at the time were really struggling in that game. Luton Town are a good team, but they need to start these games in a much more positive fashion if they are going to be having any opportunity to stay up in the league. They are a pure fans' favorite. Most of us simply have them as the second team because we just love watching them, but they need to get a very good grip on these games, because when you think about their match against Manchester United, when they started very poorly and became the better team towards the second half and towards the end of that game, and you think about today when in the first half they were blown away by Aston Villa, but the response in the second half gave them the belief that they could have won the game, only towards the end to lose a little bit of concentration and to lose. But we love Luton Town, and hopefully in their last 5 home games, they might be able to do something to get themselves out of that relegation mire. What's up, guys? It's your boy Izzy, and if you're new to the channel, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like and the subscribe button to let YouTube and everybody else know that you're enjoying this content. Luton Town did not start this game very well, and Aston Villa were well worth their 2-0 lead in the first half. Ollie Watkins, who has been having a gem of a season so far, managed to score both goals, the second of which was a very tight offside goal but was given after review from VAR. Aston Villa is a team that is chasing the top 4, and they knew that this is going to be a very tough fixture because, like I said before, a lot of the top teams have gone to Kenilworth Road and not had a good time of it. Chelsea also struggled to beat Luton Town, and so when you add all of the teams that have gone there, and when you add to the fact that Kenilworth Road is this loud, vociferous place where the crowd is always on the back of the opposition team, it was going to be a tough game. But Aston Villa made it look very easy in the first half. And by the time we got to halftime, it looked as though the question was going to be how many more can Unai Emery's team score? But in the second half, Rob Edwards must have given them a very rousing speech because they came out of the blocks flying. First off, they got a goal back from Tahith Chong after there was a pinball session in the penalty area. The ball fell to Tahith Chong and he dispatched of it with aplomb. The next thing was for Luton Town to keep pressing into the Aston Villa half, and they managed to get a reward when only 6 minutes later, Morris was able to blast in a goal from a free kick. It was due reward for Luton Town, who had played very well in that second half. But unfortunately, in the 89th minute, Luca Digne was able to give Aston Villa the lead, something they wouldn't relinquish for the rest of the game. Luton Town are a good team, but they need to start these games in a much more positive note. It almost seemed as though they were more disorganized because Luton Town don't give me the feeling as though they give the other team too much respect. It almost seems to come from the fact that they haven't organized themselves well enough in the first half to counteract what the other teams do. In the case of the Manchester United game, they just started it poorly, and the fact that they conceded 2 goals in the first 7 minutes was hard for them to come back into. And Manchester United did well defensively for the better part of that game, despite Luton Town controlling most of it. In this Aston Villa game, they were blown away in the first half. Unai Emery and his team seemed to have a very good understanding of what they want to implement in the game, and they were passing Luton Town off the park. The second half was a lot more even at the start, and towards the end of the game, Luton Town did press ahead and they looked like the better team. For the better part of the 75th to about the 86th minute, it looked as though Luton Town might be the team to get that win. But at the end of the day, Rob Edwards seemed to be doing a lot of good things, and Luton Town are responding very well to the challenge that is in front of them. But with Everton getting 4 points back, it's looking like it's going to be a very daunting task for them to get back into contention for staying up into the league. They only have 5 more home games, and we know that Kenilworth Road is a very important part of their struggle to try and survive. As far as Aston Villa, they're able to keep some distance between themselves, Manchester United, and Tottenham when they're trying to stay in that top top four, they do have a lot of testing fixtures coming up. And so it was important for them to pick up these 3 points because they face Arsenal, they face Manchester City, and they face Liverpool in their run-in. So it's not going to be easy. All I know is that Unai Emery is doing everything right. He seems as though he's a very rejuvenated man on his return to the Premier League. And that top four spot is looking as though it has their name on it. If they keep playing to the potential that we know that they can, Aston Villa should be a shoo-in for it, because Manchester United have a very up and down way that they are approaching their games. And even more so, Manchester United themselves have to face all of the top contenders for the title as well. And when I think about it, I think Aston Villa are more equipped to cause an upset than Manchester United when it comes to their fixtures against the said top three. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think. It was hard to see Luton Town lose that game because I love watching them and I love seeing their determination and grit. But the fact that they can't get themselves organized enough is going to be their downfall towards the end of the season. But anyway, guys, it's your boy Izzy. Leave your comments down below, and until the next time, peace.